Hello there, very good evening and welcome to the News Tonight, your one stop for the day's top national and international stories. I'm Tracy Shilshi and here are the headlines. Home Minister Rajnath Singh and External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj brief opposition leaders on the standoff with China, explain the government's stand on the Kashmir issue at the all-party meeting ahead of the monsoon session of Parliament. Major security breach in Uttar Pradesh Assembly. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath informs members about deadly plastic explosive being found in the house. NIA to be asked to investigate the matter. Wholesale inflation falls to 0.9% in June, the lowest in 8 months. Food inflation drops to 3.47% compared to a 2.27% fall in May. Prices of pulses, vegetables and potatoes register the steepest fall. And Friday prayer stopped at the holy site of Al-Aqsa in the old city of Jerusalem after terrorist attacks. All 3 assailants and 2 Israeli policemen are killed in the shootout. The top national story, Home Minister Rajnath Singh and External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj brief opposition leaders on the standoff with China and the developing situation in Jammu and Kashmir. Several prominent opposition leaders attended the meeting, and after the meet, they said that they stand by the government on the issue of border standoff with China. The government, which is aiming to build a consensus on its approach to China, said that it wants to find a peaceful solution through talks. On the issue of Kashmir, the opposition said that the government too agrees that security lapses were made.
आम राय ये थी कि राष्ट्रीय हित के साथ में कोई समझौता नहीं हो सकता है और सबने कहा कि हम दलगत भावना से ऊपर उठ करके सरकार के साथ हैं। इसलिए इसमें जो है सब लोगों ने जो है सरकार का साथ देने का वादा किया।
अमरनाथ यात्री जो मिलिटेंटों के द्वारा मारे गए उसमें भी चर्चा था, उसमें भी हमने स्पष्ट बताया कि पूरा देश और पूरा जम्मू कश्मीर खड़ा हो गया था उन यात्रियों के साथ, उनके परिवार के साथ। तो एक उन्होंने अपॉर्चुनिटी दी है कि एक दरवाजा खोला है कि हम अपनी सहानुभूति दे रहे हैं देश के साथ और हम मिलिटेंटों के खिलाफ है। अब केंद्रीय सरकार को भी कोई खिड़की खोलनी चाहिए।
उन्होंने कहा बातचीत के आधार पर मामला को सुलझाएंगे, ये सरकार का कहना है। अमरनाथ यात्रा पे उन्होंने कहा कि जो भी है मतलब वो कारण, वो गलतियां, जो लैप्सेस जो हुई उसके बारे में स्पष्टीकरण दिया।
All right, for more on this story, we're joined by our correspondent Akhilesh Suman from the newsroom. Akhilesh, talking about the China issue first, the government, of course, clarifying its statement, what it really has been saying so far. What really was achieved from this meeting? Was it just telling the opposition that this is our strategy, this is what we are planning to do, and clearly it's a green signal from the opposition that they're happy with what has been going on so far?
Yeah, Tracy, it is a big deal actually. You know that there is a standoff going on in on India-China-Bhutan border for more than 1 month, and if the situations persist, it can go for indefinite time, because this is the time when China is trying to make roads everywhere it is possible. It seems that it is a road complex where it is possible to make roads and then claim that it is my road, it is my land. So India was very peeved with this type of a strategy, and when they started entering into Bhutan, it was duty of India to stop it. Otherwise, it could have impacted the interest of India also. This was the statement from the Foreign Secretary given to the political parties. And there was lots of questioning, because you know that whatever political parties were also getting from was only from the media. Though Rahul Gandhi met Chinese ambassador, but it was one-sided story. So that was very pertinent time that government should come up and talk to the opposition parties and whoever matters in the politics. So major leaders like Mulayam Singh Yadav was there, BSP General Secretary Satish Chand Misra was there, Sitaram Yechuri, you have seen Ghulam Nabi Azad was there, Anand Sharma was there, and southern leaders were also there present in the meeting. So it was, that on foreign policy issues, on defense issues, generally it is consensus. And on the issue of Doklam also, both opposition parties and government is telling that there was consensus. India should exploit all possible options that peaceful solution can be get, and the diplomatic channels should always be open so that the differences does not turn into disputes, as Foreign Secretary has told recently in Singapore.
Absolutely.
So this was the spirit of the meeting, and government has assured that we are trying all options so that the stalemate can be, that can be diffused, and both soldiers can go to their previous positions that was prevailing before 16 June 2017.
All right. Thank you so much, Akhilesh, for joining us with those details. Also, good strategy, isn't it, for the government just to find out what's the sense of the opposition ahead of the budget session. Ahead of the monsoon session. Thanks, Akhilesh, for joining us with those details there. Meanwhile, the Election Commission today announced election dates for 10 Rajya Sabha seats in Gujarat, West Bengal and Madhya Pradesh. The elections will include a biennial poll for 9 seats and a by-poll for former Union Minister Anil Dave's seat from Madhya Pradesh on the 8th of August. Dave, whose term in the upper house was to end in 2022, passed away on the 18th of May. The last date for filing nominations is the 28th of July, which will be scrutinized the next day. The votes will be counted on the 8th of August. The elections will affect several prominent members, including those of the upper house. That includes Union Minister Smriti Irani, CPIM General Secretary Sitaram Yechuri and Trinamool Congress leader Derek O'Brien, whose terms are ending on the 18th of August. The election to the 9 seats from West Bengal and Gujarat were originally announced for the 8th of June, but on the 22nd of May, the Election Commission postponed the poll, saying that it will clash with the 17 July presidential election. The Delhi High Court today rejected the petition of Madhya Pradesh Public Relations Minister Narottam Mishra, effectively meaning that he will not be able to vote in the presidential election on the 17th of July. The Election Commission had nullified Mishra's election in 2008 over a paid news case and disqualified him from contesting any election for the next 3 years. Mishra had challenged his disqualification in the Supreme Court, and on Wednesday, the Supreme Court transferred his case from Madhya Pradesh to the Delhi High Court. The Delhi High Court reserved its judgment on Thursday and in fact, today rejected his petition. In a major security breach, a dangerous plastic explosive was found in the Uttar Pradesh Assembly today. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath informed the House about the discovery, which unanimously recommended an NIA probe into it. The Chief Minister said that the white powder was found wrapped in a paper close to the seat of the leader of the opposition, Ram Govind Chaudhary. The explosive was found by the cleaning staff on the 12th of July, weighing 150 grams. Experts said 500 grams of it was enough to blow up the house. Yogi Adityanath assured that no compromise will be made on the security of the Assembly, which has 503 members. Later, the Speaker announced security measures in the House, including installation of whole-body scanners at all the gates and driver verification of all legislators.
नहीं, देखिए ये चूक है और इसकी जांच होनी चाहिए। इतनी बड़ी चूक नहीं होनी चाहिए। बहुत सेंसिटिव मामला है और इसकी जांच हो भी रही है। माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी इसकी जांच करा रहे हैं।
विधानसभा के अंदर और नेता विपक्ष की कुर्सी के नीचे अगर विस्फोटक कोई चीज मिलती है तो आप इससे अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं कि उत्तर प्रदेश के लॉ एंड ऑर्डर का क्या हाल है।
In more national news, wholesale inflation fell to 0.9% in June, the lowest in at least 8 months, as prices of food items softened. Inflation based on the wholesale price index was 2.17% in May 2017. Food inflation fell to 3.47%, compared with 2.27% fall in May. Inflation in pulses, vegetables and potatoes declined the most. The slowdown in wholesale inflation comes against the backdrop of retail inflation easing to a record low of 1.54% in June. In more politics, the JDU today asked the RJD to come clean on allegations against Party Minister Tejasvi Yadav with facts and not to, quote-unquote, display arrogance of having 80 MLAs. Yadav, the son of RJD Supremo Lalu Prasad, is the Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar and has been named by the CBI as an accused in the probe into its land for hotels scandal.
The political crisis in Bihar continues to deepen over the CBI probe against the son and daughter of RJD chief Lalu Prasad. While the RJD has categorically ruled out the resignation of Tejaswi Yadav over corruption charges, it has also denied any threat to the Grand Alliance. But alliance partner JDU is likely to take a call on the matter after its national executive meeting in Delhi this month.
ना हमारी चिंतन में, ना हमारे मंथन में, ना हमारी चिंताओं में इस पर कोई जिक्र भी नहीं हुआ। तो जिस बात का सारे अफसाने में जिक्र न था, वही बात आपको नागवार गुजर रही है हुजूर। ये तो कहीं हमारी चिंता में नहीं है कि 11 अशोक रोड सीबीआई, आईटी और ईडी का नया पता है कि 11 अशोक रोड मोदी जी, अमित शाह जी चाहते हैं कि हम राजनीतिक लड़ाई नहीं जीत पा रहे हैं लालू प्रसाद और तेजस्वी से, तो इस्तीफा दे दें। ये कौन सी बात है?
Matters peaked earlier this week with the RJD chief meeting his MLAs and blaming the BJP for carrying out a campaign of vendetta against his family. Facing a belligerent RJD, the JDU is reaching out to the Congress to convince the RJD to soften its stand.
हमारा गठबंधन सफलतापूर्वक चल रहा है, बिहार के विकास कार्यों में संलग्न है, भ्रष्टाचार को लेकर के और नैतिक मूल्यों की रखवाली को लेकर के जरूर मुख्यमंत्री जी ने वक्तव्य दिया है, जो जनता दल यू समेत महागठबंधन के सभी विधायकों, सांसदों और मंत्रियों पर लागू होता है।
The BJP is also mulling its options. It has stepped up the pressure on the JDU to drop Tejaswi from the cabinet.
मेरी अपेक्षा है कि नीतीश कुमार अगर शुचिता और ईमानदारी से अपनी राजनीति चलाने का दावा करते हैं, तो आज उनके उप मुख्यमंत्री के खिलाफ गंभीर आरोप है, संगीन आरोप है। इन बातों का उत्तर देना जरूरी है कि क्या किसी को होटल दिया गया और बड़ी जमीन पुरस्कार में ली गई, नियमों की अवहेलना करके, तो बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है।
At the heart of the political developments are multiple cases of corruption, not only against Lalu Prasad but also his family members, including Tejaswi Yadav, daughter Misa Bharti and her husband. Earlier this week, the CBI and the Enforcement Directorate conducted searches at the residence of Lalu Prasad's family over corruption in giving tenders of 2 hotels to a private company when he was railway minister. The CBI has named Lalu Prasad's wife Rabri Devi and Tejaswi among the accused. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Nagaland Governor P.B. Acharya has once again asked Chief Minister Shirozile Lezetso to prove his majority on the floor of the Assembly on or before the 15th of July. The second directive came after the State Cabinet turned down an earlier one. In a letter addressed to the Chief Minister late last night, the Governor said that Lezetso did not deny the claims of T.R. Zeliang that he enjoys the support of 44 MLAs in a House of 59. Acharya said that it was not an internal matter of the ruling Naga People's Front as claimed by the Chief Minister. He also said that from the materials available to him, it prima facie appears that the Chief Minister has lost support of the majority of the Assembly. On the other hand, the Chief Minister revoked the suspension of T.R. Zeliang, who had stake claim to form government, and 10 others. Zeliang, claiming the support of 41 of the 59 MLAs in the Assembly, wrote to the Governor on the 8th of July for an invitation to form the new NPF-led DN government. Lezetso then dismissed 4 ministers and 11 parliamentary secretaries and suspended them all besides Zeliang from the party. Staying with the northeast, the flood situation there remains grim. The death toll rose to 80 across Assam, Manipur and Arunachal Pradesh. Union Minister Kiran Rijiju took stock of the prevailing situation on Thursday and assured all possible central assistance to the states.
The flood situation remains grim in the northeastern states. The death toll has risen to 80 across 58 districts in Assam, Manipur and Arunachal Pradesh. In Assam, rains have affected more than 17 lakh people in 26 of the 35 districts. The Brahmaputra and its tributaries submerged 2,500 villages and destroyed 1.06 lakh hectares of cropland. Around 49 people have lost their lives so far. Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal on Thursday visited flood-affected areas and took stock of the situation. He said that the government was providing all help to the people affected by the deluge.
और रिलीफ कैंप में जो बसे हुए हमारे लोग हैं उनसे मैंने मिला और उनकी जानकारी ली, क्योंकि सरकार की तरफ से जो भी अनाज दिया गया है वो मिला है कि नहीं, तो लोगों ने कहा सही समय पे मिला है और हमारी सरकार की तरफ से जो भी मदद चाहिए हम देने के लिए तैयार है। और हमने आदेश दिया है हर हमारी डिप्टी कमिश्नर को हर जिले का, ताकि जरूरत के मुताबिक आम जनता को मदद किया जाए।
While in Arunachal Pradesh, at least 13 people were killed and one feared missing after a landslide triggered by heavy rains hit Papumpare district. A team comprising of the NDRF and police is carrying on rescue and relief operation.
NDRF टीम और पुलिस टीम लोगों ने बहुत काफ़ी मेहनत किया और कोशिश किया। इसमें 13 लोगों को निकाला गया है।
Union Minister Kiren Rijiju also visited flood and landslide affected areas. Rijiju was deputed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi to assess the damage caused by heavy rains in the region. First, he undertook an aerial survey of Assam and Arunachal Pradesh and later held a meeting with the district administration officials. Rijiju assured all sorts of central assistance to the states.
Very confident that very soon this restoration and rehabilitation process will be over. Yesterday I had a detailed meeting with the Prime Minister and he has asked me to coordinate the entire North-Eastern region.
NDRF teams are working effectively with district administrations. Meanwhile, Union Minister of State for Development of North-Eastern Region Jitendra Singh called Assam Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal and expressed concern over the damage caused by the devastating floods in the state. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And here are more updates from across the country in Nationwide. The Supreme Court has directed the CBI to constitute a team to probe the Manipur encounter killings. A bench of justices, M.B. Lokar and UU Lalit, asked the CBI to appoint a team to conduct the probe into the alleged extrajudicial killings by the Army, Assam Rifles and the Manipur Police. The court was hearing a PIL seeking a probe and compensation for the alleged 1,528 extrajudicial killings in Manipur from 2000 to 2012. The Mumbai Police Cyber Cell on Friday registered an FIR against Mumbai-based comedy group AIB for posting offensive content on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. On Wednesday, AIB had tweeted a meme about Prime Minister Modi, which they later deleted after criticism on social media. The Supreme Court gave the centre 7 days to clarify within a week its plans to give voting rights to non-residential Indians. The Apex Court also asked if the central government will amend the law or rules for allowing NRIs to vote. The Supreme Court was hearing a batch of petitions on various issues, including if NRIs should be allowed to vote through postal ballot. The Apex Court has modified its order regarding removal of encroached area near the Haji Ali Shrine in Mumbai. In the latest order, the Apex Court ordered protection of the Kinara Mosque near Haji Ali, a portion of which was facing demolition as it was an encroachment. The court also asked the Maharashtra government to decide within a week the plea seeking regularization of Kinara Mosque. The Madras High Court quashed the Tamil Nadu government's order which reserved 85% MBBS and BDS seats for state board students. Allowing petitions by some CBSE students challenging the government order, the High Court said that the reservation violated Article 14 of the Constitution. After the verdict, the state government announced that it will appeal against the verdict. A quick break here. Up next, we're getting you the top international stories.
If you see at the time of independence, nearly 16 million ton, 16.5 million ton production was there. But nowadays production has reached to 175 at per estimate, nearly 10 times you can see. Earlier we are talking about the livelihood, but now we are talking about the nutrition security. Certainly vegetable is one. We have developed the 64 varieties in hybrid and all these things, nearly 22 vegetable crops. This is at farmer's field. But nowadays, again 20 more varieties in the pipeline.
Watch Eureka with Dr. Bijendra Singh, Director ICAR Indian Institute of Vegetable Research, Varanasi. only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. Let's get to the international stories now. And 2 Israeli police officers were killed in a shooting on Friday in Jerusalem's Old City, just outside one of the world's most important religious sites. The attack took place at a site known to Muslims as the Haram al-Sharif and to Jews as the Temple Mount.
2 Israeli policemen were killed and 1 injured in a shootout near Lionsgate in Jerusalem's Old City on Friday. The attack took place when 3 terrorists opened fire near the highly sensitive holy site of Al-Aqsa in Jerusalem's Old City. All 3 attackers were killed by security forces. 2 rifles, a handgun and a knife were found on the bodies of the attackers.
Just after 7 o'clock this morning at the Lions Gate, we can confirm that there was a terrorist attack that took place. 3 terrorists used an automatic weapon and a knife in and around the area. Our police units responded. All 3 terrorists were shot and killed after our police officers were in a life-threatening situation. The area of the Temple Mount and the Old City is still closed off. We're looking into the identity of those terrorists and where they came in from.
Following the attack, police declared that Friday prayers will not be held at the site that is known to Muslims as the Noble Sanctuary and to Jews as the Temple Mount.
نحن اليوم الجمعة ويجب أن ندخل إلى المسجد لنصلي الجمعة. المسجد الأقصى هو مسجدنا وهو مسجد إسلامي وبالتالي تحت أي ظرف لا يجوز أن نمنع من الوصول إلى المسجد والصلاة في المسجد الأقصى.
Meanwhile, the police cordoned off the area to ensure there are no more weapons there. The incident is the 2nd attack at Jerusalem's Old City in the past 1 month. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And here are more international news stories in Global Buzz. A teenager was arrested following a series of acid attacks in northwest London on Friday. The Metropolitan Police said that the attack left several people with facial injuries, including one with life-changing effects. The police also appealed for witnesses to come forward for information. Meanwhile, an investigation is on to nab the other attackers. China on Friday lodged diplomatic protests with several countries, including the US, France and Germany, for their reactions over the death of Nobel laureate Liu Xiaobo. It also tried to downplay international condemnation of his government by calling it a domestic affair. Liu died on Thursday at a Chinese hospital due to liver cancer. The 61-year-old was in custody at a hospital in Shenyang in northeastern China. Iraqi forces started clearing up the war-torn city of Mosul on Friday, which has been reduced into a wasteland of rubble after months of brutal fighting. The old city of Mosul was among the hardest hit areas by the house-to-house fighting backed by airstrikes, artillery and heavy machine guns used to uproot the Islamic State. Meanwhile, Iraqi forces are also trying to eliminate the last pockets of the ISIS fighters who fled the old city. The United Nations Refugee Agency said that the core of the European migrant crisis is in Libya and not the Mediterranean Sea, as around 1,400 boat migrants arrived in Italy's Catania port. It also added that the migrants disembarking a Coast Guard ship were part of more than 4,000 people who were plucked from boats in the Mediterranean in the past days. A worker was killed and 10 others injured after a structure on an under-construction highway collapsed near the Pan Island Expressway in Singapore on Friday. After the incident, authorities temporarily suspended all road and rail construction to carry out safety checks. Engineers responsible for the project were ordered to carry out a detailed investigation into the design and construction quality. All right, some news from the Wimbledon Championships now, and Croatian Marin Cilic entered his first Wimbledon final with a 6-7, 6-4, 7-6, 7-5 victory over American Sam Querrey on Friday. Cilic will face the winner of the semi-final between 7-time Wimbledon champion Federer and Czech Tomas Berdych. The 28-year-old Cilic is the first Croatian to reach the men's singles final at Wimbledon since Goran Ivanisevic in 2001. The Brazilian quarry stuck at his task well, but Silich was the deserved winner, making it 5 wins out of 5 against the American. And finally, the cast of the movie Ragdesh, produced by Rajya Sabha TV, was in New Delhi to promote the film. National Award winner Tigmanshu Dhulia has directed the film that has Kunal Kapoor, Mohit Marwa and Amit Saad in the lead roles. The movie, based on the famous Red Fort trials, will be released on the 28th of July. Rajya Sabha TV correspondent Anu Diwan spoke to the star cast.
I think they're ready to surrender.
आईएनए की बागी फौजियों पर अंग्रेज देशद्रोह का मुकदमा चलाएंगे।
उन तीनों के बचने के चांसेस कम हैं।
ये कोई आम केस नहीं, कोर्ट मार्शल है।
भारत की आज़ादी के कुछ ऐसे पन्ने जिनके बारे में हमने बहुत कम सुना था, लेकिन अब वो जल्द ही एक पिक्चर के रूप में आपके सामने आएंगे। पूरी फिल्म रागदेश की पूरी फिल्म की टीम हमारे साथ है। तिग्मांशु सर हैं डायरेक्टर, मोहित मारवा एंड कुणाल कपूर। सर, सबसे पहले आपसे एक सवाल, रागदेश टाइटल, ये आपने नाम क्यों चुना?
ये फिल्म उस जन्म का संगीत है, तो हमने कहा राग देश। और एक हमारे हिंदुस्तानी क्लासिकल में एक देश राग करके राग भी है, तो मुझे वो स्ट्राइक किया, मैंने ये स्ट्राइक किया। और मुझे दिमाग में बहुत चला था ग्रिफिथ की फिल्म बर्थ ऑफ ए नेशन, मैंने कहा बर्थ ऑफ ए नेशन, राग देश, देश राग, मैंने कहा राग देश, यही है वो टाइटल। मैं इतिहास का छात्र हूँ, स्टूडेंट हूँ, इतिहास से प्रेम करता हूँ, इतिहास को एक नज़रिए से देखना चाहता हूँ, तो मैंने थोड़ा ज़्यादा तरजीह दी है इसको।
हमारे साथ फिल्म के मेन लीड्स मोहित मारवा और कुणाल कपूर भी है। मोहित, सबसे पहले आप जो है कर्नल सहगल का रोल प्ले कर रहे हैं, आपके लिए उनको समझना कितना बड़ा चैलेंज था?
चैलेंज तो था, क्योंकि वो मुझसे काफ़ी हटके थे, उनकी जो पर्सनैलिटी थी। और पर मैंने क्या किया कि मैंने चीज़ें ऐसी ढूंढी जो हमें कुछ सिमिलर चीज़ें मिल सके, वो सिमिलैरिटीज़ मैंने ढूंढी, उन्हें अपना बनाया।
कुणाल, आप रंग दे बसंती के बाद आपके लिए ये ऐसा एक मौका था जिसमें आप मेजर जनरल का रोल प्ले कर रहे हैं। ये रोल के बारे में थोड़ा सा बताइए, और ये कितना आपके लिए चैलेंज रहा है ये रोल?
ये रोल शाहनवाज़ खान ऑब्वियसली प्ले कर रहा हूँ मैं, और मुझे शाहनवाज़ खान बहुत ज़्यादा फैसिनेटिंग लगे। चैलेंजिंग ये था, जैसे सर कहते हैं, हम सबको मार्च पास करने में सिंक में मार्च पास करने में बहुत चैलेंजिंग लगा। लेकिन ऑन अ सीरियस नोट, चैलेंजिंग ये था कि उस दौर के, एक तो जैसे मैंने कहा मानसिकता को समझना, दूसरा बॉडी लैंग्वेज बिल्कुल अलग थी उस ज़माने में। लोग चलते अलग तरीके से थे, बैठते अलग तरीके से थे, बोलते अलग तरीके से थे, तो उस सबको अपनी फिजिकलिटी में लेकर आना, अपनी आवाज़ में लेकर आना, वो चैलेंजिंग था हम सब के लिए।
तो ये थी हमारे साथ पूरी टीम रागदेश की। फिल्म रिलीज हो रही है अगले हफ्ते 28 जुलाई को। कैमरा पर्सन अश्विनी के साथ अनु दीवान, राज्य सभा टीवी, नोएडा।
You can follow on more details of this movie on Twitter and Facebook as well. That's it on the news tonight. Thank you for joining us.